Jimmy Kimmel producer, writer, and wife Molly McNearney admits that they pulled the harshest Will Smith jokes from the Oscars. Were the Oscars protecting him? Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signor, and as this story finally winds down, I've seen a lot of interesting media coverage on things. We got pieces out there defending Jada. This one I'm going to look at with you calls Chris Rock lazy, says Chris Rock is wrong about Jada. We're going to break it all down, but first I want to start with this that I found very interesting, that they axed a horde of harder Will Smith Slapgate gags from the Oscars monologue. Now, why would they do that? Now, you go to this piece in Variety where they do reveal a bunch of secrets from the Oscar show, which was very interesting. Interesting part about Tom Cruise and how they removed his jokes too. They were not planning to be harsh on him. In fact, the one L. Ron Hubba Hubba joke they weren't going to use if he had shown there. They talk about the fact that they had a 3-minute monologue dedicated to Cruise to honor him and his role in receiving reviving the movie industry, and how disappointed they were that they didn't come. This is sort of echoing what we sort of talked about yesterday, and the fact that it's hard for Jimmy Kimmel to be harsh because he's got to have all these people show up to his show. I'm going to come back on Tom Cruise. I think we're going to talk about why Tom Cruise didn't come. I've been looking at that story more, and there's a reason I didn't really think of, and it's fascinating. We're going to break that down as I bank some more videos for you later this week because it's my kids' spring break. So please, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for all alerts, smash that like button. I got some fun videos in store for you this week that you're not going to miss. So check it out. And we're going to delve into the real reasons behind Tom Cruise. But let's focus on Chris Rock and why they didn't tell a harsher Will Smith jokes. So here's what Molly said. Molly, again, is Jimmy's wife, writer, and producer for the show. We didn't want to make this year all about last year, McNearney said. I cannot tell you how many Will Smith jokes we had that we got rid of. We think that only the best for that room made it. They were certainly some ones that went harder, but we didn't think that was our place to do that. That should be Chris Rock, not us. Why? I don't get that. But we really like the idea of making fun of the reaction to it last year. I think we're all still in a bit of shock of how that went down and how after watching that violence, everyone had to then sit through an acceptance speech. It's true. That was a clever way to do it because you're basically mocking everybody there who did nothing. But then I'm like, well, what are they supposed to do? Storm out and make a whole scene? I mean, they shouldn't have stood up and applauded them. They could have just sat there and been like, but at the same time, I don't think they fully understood what happened. A lot of people watching at home and in the theaters thought it was a bit. It was very unclear until we all got to see what was going on, what happened. I mean, it's hard to say it was a bit when he said, keep my name after mother F. I mean, it wasn't a bit. But anyway, this was interesting to me. They revealed a bunch of interesting secrets in here. I didn't know they produce the show 3 times. They do it Saturday night, they do it Sunday morning, and they do it again live. Makes sense. Also, Malala did not know what was going on, and she was an excellent sport. We ran into her at the Vanity Fair party. She couldn't have been nicer, more gracious. She was worried. I hope my answer was okay. We thought she was amazing. The other interesting one was that Andrew Garfield was supposed to just do a web sling, and instead he did his reaction and ad-libbed that reaction, which is way funnier than what they wrote. But again, I'm stuck on this because it's like, why would you hold back? I mean, the answer seems obvious, right? You're hold back because you're Jimmy Kimmel. You need all these people to show up to your award show. You want Will Smith to come to your show if he's ever going to do big interviews. You want those big stunty interviews, so you got to sort of be nice to everybody. And when you poke at somebody, it's got to be, oh, that was okay. But I don't know, man. This was odd. There's a whole story here in the Tom Cruise bit about part of the reason they were worried was that they thought because Judd Apatow did a whole bad run on Tom Cruise. I thought it was super offensive. Like, I'm not a fan of Scientology. I'll give you more thoughts on Tom when we do the other video. But even I thought Judd just seemed like he was bitter, jealous. I don't know what it was. It was just too mean-spirited. It wasn't funny. If you're going to go harsh, you got to go funny. I think Ricky Gervais does it the best because it feels honest. You know what I mean? And apparently there was worry that from Cruise's camp that Judd Apatow, who had made a series of brutal jokes at Cruise's expense, was helping Kimmel's monologue, but that wasn't true. And they're like clearing the air for Tom's people to be like, Tom, we're on Team Tom. Tom, we're not going to make the Scientology jokes if you're in the room. We want you. Please come to the show, is really what they want. They apparently had a whole separate 3-minute chunk dedicated to Tom, honoring him and his role. But yeah, she said, Judd, sometimes he sends his monologue or jokes to people he trusts, other writers and comedians. I get that. You want to see how they react. They don't help with the monologue. They just tell him like that joke's working, that joke's not working. No, Judd Apatow was not working or doing anything for the monologue. So that nips that one. But again, more proof that he was trying to be careful and how he rubbed that room the wrong way. And that's clearly going to get him the gig again. That's what they're talking about. The ratings were up actually for once on an Oscar show. So we'll see what happens. But all this, like, why protect Will at this point? It's fair game. What he did was massive. We're all talking about it. Jimmy should have made some jokes. It's the one celebrity I feel like, yeah, you're allowed to bust some jokes on Will Smith. Sorry, Will, but you are. Like, if we can't handle jokes at your expense after what you did, there's something wrong. And they should have gone harsher, in my opinion. But this is frustrating. Seeing these type of op-ed pieces, and this is just one of many, not to spotlight, leave this person alone. But bringing Jada Pinkett Smith deeper into this mess is just plain lazy. I mean, why? He disagrees. What, he's wrong about Jada? What do you know, Inga, that we don't know, that you're just declaring it's wrong? And she goes into talk about lazy. You want to call something lazy? This article is lazy. I mean, we all sometimes, don't give our best some days because the story itself seems like that's the story enough. There's not much to bring to it, right? But you're trying to do a hot take for views here, and it makes no sense. Jada, she goes in and explains it, and that Rock says that Jada during the Oscars So White campaign, Rock ignored Jada's request and went on to host the awards. While emceeing the event, Rock addressed the boycott, quipping, Jada boycotting the Oscars is like me boycotting Rihanna's panties. I wasn't invited. That's a good joke. It's real. It's true. It's not offensive to Jada. It's like, you weren't invited, Jada. You're boycotting the show that you're not nominated for. Like, come on. That's ridiculous. And 6 years later, Rock again took aim at Pinkett Smith doing this G.I. Jane joke. Now, hold on. There was a part here she even acknowledges. Rock, however, ignored. No, wait. There was a part in here she mentions. She says here. God, it's so badly written. I thought I had it here. Yeah. He then went on to share an undisclosed detail about the time he says Pinkett Smith tried to persuade him to quit on hosting the Oscars. According to Rock, she was upset over the Academy's snub of Smith, and she said an effing grown-ass man should quit his job because her husband didn't get nominated. Now, I'm sorry, author here. This is new intel that even you admit. And this does imply that she's more involved than she wants to admit. She clearly asked Rock not to do this. Now, you also got to remember, she's out there putting out articles where she's saying Chris Rock's obsessed. It's like, Chris Rock is obsessed with me, source claims. Now, this came from People magazine, who Jada's close to. He's obsessed with me. What? No, she's the one. He made the one joke, and then he did the G.I. Jane joke, which again, he insists he had no prior knowledge of the alopecia. So again, two innocent jokes, and Will Smith saying, keep my wife's name out of your mother effing mouth. And Jada's got this whole holier than thou attitude that Chris Rock's obsessed with me. Girl, we're not all obsessed with you. We're just reacting to your insane outbursts. I mean, the whole red table talk, we've gone into detail about this. But these articles just, they bum me out. A year later, claiming that G.I. Jane remark was intended to shut down a so-called feud she started years ago is not the succinct comeback he may have intended. I'm sorry to tell you, Chris Rock, but I would argue that you didn't finish it. Will Smith finished it for you. So are you endorsing violence here? Like, what are we doing? This is a piece, Inga. Will Smith finished it. It's like Jaden Smith saying, yeah, that's what we do. Violence is never the answer. If this was the other way around, it would be insane. The fact that they keep justifying and allowing violence and keep declaring Chris Rock lazy. Dude was silent for a whole year. I mean, he made a couple little jokes privately at his shows for people who paid to see him. He didn't publicly say a word. No one was allowed to film or release that. He was practicing his comedy set. And he kept a lot of that to himself. A lot of that was played for the first time on his special on Netflix. So he waits a whole year and finally responds, and he's lazy. Got it. Insane. No, she's not wrong. But was Jimmy Kimmel wrong to axe these jokes? That's what I want to hear from you, but down below in the comments. If you haven't already, make sure you are subscribed. Hit that bell to get all up-to-dates on your pop culture news. Hit that bell, hit the like button, and leave your comments. Should Jimmy Kimmel have axed all these jokes? Should he have been harsher? Was he harsh enough? Look, I don't hate Jimmy Kimmel. He's just safe. And, you know, that's good sometimes. He's not as bad to me. I don't like Jimmy Fallon. Jimmy Fallon laughs way too much at his own jokes. I do prefer Kimmel over Fallon. Fallon's really safe. Fallon doesn't want to offend anybody. Kimmel will at least go there a little bit. And that's why I guess I was a little disappointed, because I wanted Kimmel to go a little bit more tougher. And I think we were allowed to tell some jokes at your expense from last year. This is the year anniversary. Yeah, let's move on. But yeah, let's address the elephant in the room. What do you guys think? Want to hear your thoughts down below. Got lots more content coming this week and more. Steph will be here live the rest of the week, but I'll be here live today. Hope to see you there. Go Planet!